The date is Tuesday, the 17th of June 2025. The time is now 6:41 a.m. and oh, do you hear that? That's upstairs on my tablet. I won't go up, but can you hear it? That's Iran's missile attack on Israel again. Oh my God, just about to show you this. That's not a coincidence again. Yeah, they're being attacked. Anyway, just to prove that I'm proactively, well, that's obviously that's Israel being attacked. I'm spiritually attacking Israel now, today, which is the Watchtower and Jehovah's Witnesses, because these are my letter envelopes that are being sent out today, being collected by Royal Mail, which contain a 3-page letter, which is 250 GSM silk paper, more like card, but it's really good quality, and an 8GB memory stick, which you can see in my other video, last video, what's contained in there. Yeah, they're being attacked again. That's going to the Yorkshire Post, being collected today. And then we have the Lancashire Post, the Economist, City AM, the Times, the Financial Times, and then some blank ones there. Anyway, that's what's being sent out today to take down the Watchtower. Now this, as you can see, I'm using a black plastic coated padded envelope, which are really good, about 37p each, and then the paper is costing me the money, obviously, and then the memory stick, which is costing me 8GB memory stick, which is costing me £1.78, plus the postage of each parcel. These are costing £3.45. So I'm spending basically £3.45 to send that out. So the total cost of sending each letter parcel is only £6.77. And what I was doing before, I must have spent over £2,000 sending documents, not only to Watchtower but the news media. This is what I was sending out. Look, the Shroud of Turin document, to prove that Joshua is Jesus Christ. Where is it? Using Face++, which is a website that I use. Basically, Joshua matches up with the Shroud of Turin, artist impression by Ray Downing, a 3D expert, who's been on the History Channel and many other news channels. And Joshua's confidence score of matching up to the Shroud of Turin image is 80. Now the threshold of being the same person is 73.975. So Joshua is getting a very high score that is the same person. If I put Joshua on and compare him with himself, he gets about a 93% score. So it's not far off, is it? But these documents were costing me upwards of £30 to send out, and I can't afford it. Whereas that's just one document. You've got all the documents, not only the Shroud of Turin document, but you've also got the other 9 Armageddon documents, plus all the other information, supernatural videos. Now, talking of the supernatural, yeah, oh, just one thing. These the first batch, the first one I've got on my list on parceltogo.co.uk was sent out on, well, it was booked on the 9th, Monday the 9th of June 2025, and it was the first batch was sent out on the 10th of June, which was Tuesday. So 2 days later, on the 12th of June, and I've got the photo at 11:17 a.m. on Thursday the 12th of June. My friend Trish came down, and well, I was up in my bed doing something to do with my documents and my memory stick, and Trish called me down. She says, "You better come down." I says, "What? Something moved again?" She says, "Just come down." And she said, she told me to look around. She says, "Have you noticed anything?" I says, "No." She says, "Look under the computer desk." And as you can see there, we have a Bible there. It's a New World Translation. And before I got disfellowshipped on the 2nd of June 2010, well, wrongly disfellowshipped by the corrupt elders, Simon Eshelby, who was a chairman on my judicial committee at the Birchwood Kingdom Hall, Lincoln, UK, he got me this Bible. I think it was about 6 months before I got disfellowshipped. He got me a reference Bible, the New World Translation, and ever since then I've put it under my computer desk here. Well, it's been under there at least 10 years, and every now and again the angels will turn the pages to significant pages. Now this Bible has moved to places like Daniel chapter 9, the coming of 69 weeks of the coming of the Messiah, Revelation 3, Luke chapter 3, which is the genealogy of Jesus, and 2 Hashes, H-A-C-C, my surname is encoded there, one for Joshua and one for me. And it's moved when I was in hospital the last time in June, well, came out July the 28th, 2023. I came back to my house, and the Bible had moved to Nahum chapter 2, which is about Nineveh's fall. And the other one it turned to after that was Proverbs chapter 1, where it talks about, I think it's verse 22 to 25, about how Jehovah laughs at people's disaster because they wouldn't listen. But at 11:17 a.m. on the 12th, Thursday the 12th of June, Trish called me down, and the Bible had moved to, well, that page is Isaiah 28, but this side is, well, as you can see there, it says Jerusalem, which is the Watchtower, and there it's Isaiah 29. Now what's interesting is I had this envelope. It was obviously the pages had turned from there, because Proverbs is before Isaiah, so it's moved across and left this envelope here. Now what is significant, that envelope is, the angels are saying that these envelopes that are being sent out here, look, that's what it's saying that Isaiah 29 is about. And what I'll do, I'll play that in a minute, because I'll have to do it on my tablet of jw.org, their Bible Online, and we'll see what message the angels are giving to Watchtower and the governing body and Jehovah's Witnesses. So that envelope is saying that these letter parcels are going to work with the 8.0 gigabyte USB memory stick in it. And then what was interesting yesterday, before I took Trish home, walked home to her flat, well, I have cards on here, can you see? All my cards are on here. Christmas card from Nada, the 2 owls, the wise, me and Jehovah. And that's my card I was sending out to the news agency. That card cost me about £6. There, look, that's what I was sending out. But now I'm sending out a whole 3-page document with a 8 gigabyte memory stick. So much information on that. But what happened was, I had this card on here. Can you see it? I had my computer share there yesterday, and that card's there, look. It's a Royal Mail. Trish, my best friend Trish gave it to me. I think it was a few Christmases ago. probably about 5 or 6 years ago. But look, Merry Christmas. In fact, there's the card inside. That's Trish. Look, Trish sent me the card. This card has a letterbox on it, Royal Mail, and that is right next to that. Right, there's no way that's been placed there by the angels, because I did not move it, and that's actually next to some books, which is the truth behind the Bible code. And on this memory stick are all 90 examples of Bible code that are to do with me, the Son of God, and Jehovah. But yeah, that's the Bible code there, right? And then you got the world religion. But what happened was, I don't know when this was. This was a few months ago. A few months ago. Well, basically, I had these books here were on top of there, right? And as you can see down there, you have the cult book and the Watchtower magazines, Jehovah's Witnesses Watchtower magazines, and Awake. I think it's the Watchtower. And you've got a leaflet down there, look. Well, the cult book fell off. Well, the first time it happened, I was talking to Trish and I was sitting there on my computer chair, and then suddenly I heard a rustling, like something fall in the corner, which is over here, and there was all books here in a basket. It was high up, you couldn't see behind it, but I went to look behind it and found this and found the cult book, which was on top of here. Well, the Watchtower magazines were on top of that cult book, and basically the Watchtower magazines fell over, right, and all the books had moved like off to one side. Now the thing is, Trish didn't even hear it. I heard it. She didn't. She's not heard a few things I've heard. So that's what happened. And then a few months ago, obviously that book was on the cult book was on top of here, and everything is shifted backwards. Those books fell off. Mystery of the Shemitah by Jonathan Cahn. That's an interesting book. The Bible Code. And what's here, I got out of hospital in 2018 when I was sectioned. You've got Russell and Ash. Well, Russell was an elder in the Birchwood Kingdom Hall, and when I went into the room once, I didn't know he was an elder because I was talking to the elder. I says, "You're not an elder." I says, "What are you doing here?" He says, the elder said, "Oh yeah, he is now, Russell. He's married to Joanna, my sister-in-law." Or not now, they're divorced. But basically I says, "Oh, you're going to be removed from being an elder," and he was. In fact, he had so many problems. I've got a Bible code about him. And then Ash is my brother-in-law, so Jehovah's having a go at them. But basically, I was my computer chair there. I was sitting with it there. It wasn't even moving, and I heard the books move, and I heard it fall off. And honestly, I didn't move, and I looked behind, and I thought, "Oh my God, the Bible code's exposed, the mystery of the Shemitah, and then the Watchtower magazines and the cult book had fallen right on the Watchtower." So what do you think Jehovah and the angels are saying, Watchtower and Jehovah's Witnesses, about Watchtower? They are a cult. In fact, Revelation says, "Get out of her, my people." Why does it say that? Revelation 18, I think it is. Get out of her, my people, because my people are Jehovah's Witnesses. That's what Jehovah is saying. Get out. So there we go. That's the miracle. Honestly, I'm getting supernatural miracles every day now. It's just going on and on and on. Even let me show you this. Oh, I'll just show you this first. This is I like this AI woman's beautiful. This is look, the last cry of war, call for peace. Right? And then on my wall, I have a picture of Joshua. And that picture I just showed you, the Shroud of Turin by Ray Downing. I found this picture in my gallery, photo gallery, Samsung photo gallery, and I found this. Right, I thought, what the hell? I'd been experimenting with the background with Joshua on it, but there was this picture on here, supernatural picture that I never produced, and it's got Joshua on it, and through the centre, as you can see, the eyes is the Shroud of Turin by Ray Downing, and also it's actually in a negative form, which is what the Shroud of Turin was photographed. To get a better image of it in 1889, I think it was. Anyway, that picture was never done by me. In fact, the Shroud of Turin photo was next to it. I don't know how it's been done, to be honest. I don't have any apps that do that, and I ain't got time to be doing abstract art. I wouldn't have done it, right? So basically, that picture, the timestamp on it was, I don't know what date it was, but the time was 8:24 PM. So what's that? 20:54 and 50 seconds, right? That was produced, but the one next to it with the Shroud of Turin picture on it was produced at the same time, 20:54. 54:50. They've both got the same stamp time on it. Impossible. Yeah, impossible. In fact, the picture of the Joshua's picture, it said Smart Select Gallery, which on my Samsung, I've got my S Pen, right? And basically, when you do a Smart Select, you're using the S Pen, but it's actually, this picture is actually in the downloads. So it shouldn't even be there. And I found there 3 other pictures with Joshua in the Shroud of Turin, but not this fancy stuff here. It's amazing. That's supernatural picture. The first supernatural picture ever documented in the world. Right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I found out you can manipulate the time and date and call it something. Yeah, I could have done that, but why would I? When Joshua matches up on Face++ with the Shroud of Turin, why would I produce a picture? I'm not going to do it. I'm not dishonest like that. I won't waste my time. I don't even know how it's been done, to be honest, because somehow Joshua, the Shroud of Turin is behind Joshua's face, which I didn't do. This fancy stuff on the back, I actually did with Joshua's face. But what's interesting is you have, I think there's an H up there, look. Can you see it? H for Hashay. So that picture was produced. And the other picture I have is that one of, what's it called? Michael the Archangel, which is me. Now, the only other supernatural picture, this picture on here I got for Trish. It's of Boo. They both died, Boo and Mason, the dogs. But this picture is the same company, Print and Post. freeprints.com or something. Anyway, I'd got this picture for Trish. And I think it was about a week later, I received a box with this in again, and I had no order, and it hadn't been been sent an email as usual, but on the plastic bag it was covered in, there was water droplets, like small water droplets all over the plastic bag. It had not been raining, the box wasn't wet. That was supernatural. That was the angels saying, yeah, this is supernatural, James, to confirm. And Dogbat was his god. And there's 2 dogs here. So that's me and Jehovah. The prophet Elijah reborn of Malachi 4 verse 5, where it says, I will send my prophet Elijah before the great and fear-inspiring day of Jehovah. and Jehovah joined me on the 6th of May 2006 in a supernatural experience where power entered into my body, dynamic energy. But that's been supernaturally produced. And this is my daughter. Well, that's the last card she sent me, and sent me a note, look. That's my daughter Eugenie. That was when she was 15 and a half, I think. That's her when she was younger, look. There. And that's my daughter Bethany, who is mentioned in Jeremiah 6 verse 1, Beth Ashiram. So I haven't seen Eugenie since I was disfellowshipped in 2010 on June the 2nd. So Watchtower, you are not holding my family, and Samantha are not holding my children hostage anymore. I'm getting you back. I'm proactively taking down I would never go back to Watchtower and the cult of Watchtower. And after learning about the history when I was disfellowshipped, their false beliefs, I'll never go back. So the only way I'm going to see my children again is to take over the Watchtower and the governing body. Then they'll respect me. That's the only way. So you can't blame me for what I'm doing. Anyway, these envelopes are being collected today by Royal Mail. So now, as I said, this was on. I turned to the angels. Turned it to Isaiah chapter 29. That's where the envelope is. So the envelope is what will do this look. This envelope is what is going to do damage to the Watchtower. So what I'm going to do now, I'll go upstairs, play this video, play the Isaiah 29, then put the videos together. Just had an earthquake in North Alaska, 3.1. So I'll go and do that now. I am now on jw.org, Jehovah's Witness website, and this is the New World Translation Bible. So now we're going to have a look at Isaiah 29 and just have an overview of what that's about. It says about Isaiah 29, woe to Ariel, which is the Watchtower, lip service condemned, which is Jehovah's Witnesses, deaf will hear and blind will see. So though the Watchtower is not listening to me at all at the minute, or any Jehovah's Witness, their eyes will be opened. But this is Isaiah 29, which is a direct message from an angel that turns the pages of the New World Translation Reference Bible to Isaiah 29 with the envelope on that you've just seen in the previous video. So listen to this, Jehovah's Witnesses. Watchtower and the governing body, take note. This is talking about you. Here we go. Isaiah 29, 1 to 24.
Chapter 29. Woe to Ariel, Ariel, the city where David encamped. Continue year after year. Let the cycle of festivals continue. But I will bring distress on Ariel, and there will be mourning and lamentation, and she will become to me like an altar hearth of God. I will encamp on all sides against you, and I will besiege you with a palisade, and raise up siege works against you. You will be brought low.
Yeah, where it says, I will encamp on all sides against you, I will besiege you with a palisade. Basically, that's happening now with this 3-page letter and the 8GB memory stick with all the information against the Watchtower. So that's what is happening now.
From the ground you will speak, and what you say will be muffled by dust. Your voice will come from the ground, like the voice of a spirit medium, and your words will chirp from the dust. The crowd of your enemies will be like fine powder, the crowd of the tyrants just like the blowing chaff, and it will happen in an instant, suddenly. Jehovah of armies will give you his attention, with thunder and earthquake and a great noise, with storm wind and tempest and the flames of a consuming fire. Then the crowd of all the nations waging war against Ariel, all those waging war against her, the siege towers against her, and those bringing distress on her, will become like a dream, a vision of the night. Yes, it will be just as when someone hungry dreams that he is eating, but he wakes up hungry. And as when someone thirsty dreams that he is drinking, but he wakes up tired and thirsty. So it will happen with the crowd of all the nations that wage war against Mount Zion. Be stunned and amazed. Blind yourselves and be blinded. They are drunk, but not with wine. They are staggering, but not from alcohol. For Jehovah has poured a spirit of deep sleep on you. He has closed your eyes, the prophets, and he has covered your heads, the visionaries. Every vision becomes for you like the words of a sealed book. When they give it to someone who can read, saying, "Read this out loud, please," he will say, "I cannot, for it is sealed up." And when they give the book to someone who cannot read, saying, "Read this, please," he will say, "I cannot read at all." Jehovah says, "This people approach me with their mouth, and they honor me with their lips, but their heart is far removed from me, and their fear of me is based on commands of men that they have been taught. Therefore..."
Yeah, that's really true. They honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far removed from me. That's Jehovah's Witnesses, and their fear of me is based on commands of men that they have been taught, which is obviously the governing body's stupid rules like shunning and disfellowshipping and blood doctrine, no blood doctrine. Let's carry on.
Or, I am the one who will again do wonderful things with this people, with wonder upon wonder. And the wisdom of their wise men will perish, and the understanding of their discreet men will be hidden. Woe to those who go to great lengths to conceal their plans from Jehovah. Their deeds are done in a dark place, while they say, "Who sees us? Who knows about us?" How you twist things! Should the potter be regarded the same as the clay? Should what is made say about its maker, "He did not make me"? And does what is formed say about its former, "He shows no understanding"? In just a short time, Lebanon will be turned into an orchard, and the orchard will be regarded as a forest. In that day, the deaf will hear the words of the book, and out of the gloom and darkness, the eyes of the blind will see. The meek will rejoice greatly in Jehovah, and the poor among men will be joyful in the Holy One of Israel. For the tyrant will be no more. The boaster will come to his finish, and all those keeping alert to do harm will be destroyed. Those who with a false word make others guilty, who laid traps for the defender in the city gate, and who with empty arguments deny justice to the righteous one. So this is what Jehovah, who redeemed Abraham, says to the house of Jacob. Jacob will no longer be ashamed, and no more will his face grow pale. For when he sees his children, who are the work of my hands, in his midst, they will sanctify my name. Yes, they will sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and they will stand in awe of the God of Israel. Those who are wayward in spirit will acquire understanding, and those who complain will accept instruction.
Yeah, in verse 22, it's interesting. So this is what Jehovah redeemed, who redeemed Abraham, says to the house of Jacob. Jacob will no longer be ashamed, and no longer will his face grow pale. For when he sees his children, who are the work of his hands in the midst, they will sanctify my name. Now, what's interesting, Jacob is a Hebrew name, and the Greek equivalent is, of course, my name, James. And Jacob means supplanter. So obviously James means supplanter. And this is the definition. I think it was according to Google or my chat on AI. I put in one of my documents. My name is James, which means supplanter. The term supplanter refers to someone who something that takes the place or position of another, often by force or through cunning tactics. It can also refer to someone who overthrows or replaces another person in the position of power or authority. That's why Jehovah gave me the name James, because I am going to take over the Watchtower and replace them and overthrow them. Now it says there in verse 23, for when he sees his children, right, that's my children, Bethany, Joshua and Eugenie, who I haven't seen since I was wrongly disfellowshipped by corrupt elders from the Birchwood Kingdom Hall, Lincoln. I haven't seen my children since the 2nd of June 2010, so over 15 years ago now. So that's a promise that I will see my children that you saw in the previous video. And yes, they will sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and they will stand in awe of the God of Israel. And the only way you can stand in awe of the God of Israel if he is physically in front of you, not invisibly in heaven. How can you stand in awe? Physically stand in front of somebody. They will sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, which is Jehovah, which is me. So there you go, there you have it, Watchtower. I tell you what, the Watchtower, I've had so many conversations with brothers around the world, and the branch office of Jehovah's Witnesses in Chelmsford. They are scared of me. They don't know what to do, because I tell them, if you can prove I'm not Jehovah, in fact, anybody come with evidence that I'm not Jehovah, bring it forward, because you haven't got any. There isn't any to prove that Jehovah's not now here on earth. I've got over 500 gigabytes of evidence. Supernatural evidence caught on camera. Right? There's too much of it. Witnessed by my friend Trish, the nurses, staff nurses in the mental hospital at Peter Hodgkinson Centre. The last time I went in hospital, and after knocking on the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses on the 7th of June 2023, right? You've got Daniel Lowe in there. Lowe means lion, claiming to be the prophet Daniel. And Sophie Anderson claiming to be the Egyptian princess who looked after Moses, who found him in the reed bed. They're claiming this. This is mental health stuff. This is not me making it up. So you need to wake up. Everybody needs to wake up as to who I am. Anyway, time to put this video together. Oh, by the way, the next video is, well, supernatural clouds. I went out into the garden before I recorded this to check if there was any signs in the sky, and there is. You might not see it, but have a look at the next video. I was just making a cup of tea. I just came outside to see if there was any signs in the sky, like the clouds. I'm just about to record Isaiah 29, but up here we've got some strange clouds. But look, just above there is a cross to the right of the Birchwood Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. That looks a bit like an H for Hashay. Yeah, it's definitely a cross up there, look. Clouds have made a cross sign. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. X marks the spot, Watchtower. You're going down on the 22nd of, the 3rd of August 2025 without fail. Anyway, have a good day.